I will refresh my stream. I see the play button. Good. Excellent. Yes, I see the screen. Let me just check the volume, the audio quality real quick. Cool. Yeah, the voice sounds good. Excellent. And yeah, suppose I'll tweet it out. We don't usually tweet stuff out if the devs aren't around, but because of the time zone switch, a lot of people overseas haven't had their clocks changed, so people probably think we're going up at a weird hour. So
Yes.
1 second. There we go. Send out a tweet, and I'll post it to the Discord too, just because of the time zone change. Cool. Excellent. This is Beach talking right now. But hello, all of you wonderful viewers. I can't speak. We're probably gonna have a bit of a less of an audience today, just because of the clock change on Sunday, or clocks went forward, and it's kind of because like it's not a full thing that happens across the board through every time zone. We're streaming at a bit of a weird hour for those in the UK and for those in Germany and things like that. So we might be starting a little earlier than usual. But yeah, I welcome all of you. It's another snowy Tuesday. I can't believe we're still getting this much snow when it's March 13th. Oh, it makes me sad, but it's just how it is, I suppose. Being in Canada and all. But today we have Antoine on deck. He will be modeling a pool table, which is pretty cool. It's an awesome prop to have. I'm not sure how many of you have played pool before, but it's pretty neat. It's also something you see a lot as kind of a scenario in physics textbooks for, like, A to B, angle of incidence, angle of reflection type stuff. Um, but yeah, it's fun. I don't play it too much, but sometimes it's a nice little leisure activity. As to whether or not it'll be interactable in the game, definitely not in Town Square Day 1, but the developers have shown some interest in getting a functioning pool table in the future to play around with. So, but yeah. I asked the devs if they would be able to show up today. John said he'll try and make it sometime halfway through the stream. Sean is also really busy. He will try to as well. But if they don't show up, I'll answer what I can, and we'll just have a more chillax stream today while we watch Antoine work his magic. It's always fun seeing the developers stream things, and just really cool being able to get this insight as to how development is going. Um, but yeah, hello all of you wonderful viewers. 64, that's not bad. As I said earlier, definitely don't expect too many people to be here today because of the whole time zone shift, daylight savings and all that. It's just another complication to add into the mix of time zones, yay. But it is what it is. I enjoy the longer nights anyways. Walking home in the dark is never fun. But yeah, we've been extremely busy around the office, even to the point where I was surprised to learn that some people came in on the weekend to help work. People just really want to see Module 1 completed, and completed well, so everyone's super determined, and it's going quite well. I know John was working on the day and night systems when I just popped into his office a few minutes ago. Looking pretty cool with how the lighting works in Town Square. And yeah, I also saw more of the character creator. It's really coming along. Uh, Yeah, I see some people in the Twitch chat talking about the date. In the most recent developer blog, it did get changed to April 23rd. It was definitely a tough decision to make, but the CEO feels that the team will benefit from it because if like it would still kind of possible to get it out for March 21st, but we would have to probably cut corners, not test enough of the features that we wanted to include, and we really want the first impression to be really good because, as John put it, most people don't end up trying a video game twice. The first impression is really what matters, and while we are close, getting that extra room to actually test features and implement the final few things and make sure that they run well is really crucial. Um, he will try and get more media out within the time waiting for Module 1 because it's everyone's super curious about learning more about it. I've definitely seen some stuff behind the scenes. It's pretty cool. I can't talk about everything, but I would love to see more media posted, and I'm on his back about it for sure. I really want to get more media out there. Oh, the lead programmer, this was also mentioned in the devlog. Sohn, one of our programmers, did end up having a new addition to his family, and we're all very happy for him. It is a reason, but it's not the sole reason. It's mostly just because we really want to make sure it's good, and as tough of a pill as it was to swallow of pushing the date back again, the one more month will really, really, really benefit us. Can you stream in Module 1? By streaming like on Twitch if you want to record yourself. We don't have any NDAs or things like that. If people end up playing the modules or beta or full game, you're free to make whatever videos you want. But in terms of using in-game streaming features, I know that the cinema will be playing public domain movies, but I'm not too sure about streaming YouTube and things like that from within the game using like in-game TVs and stuff like that. I know that's something that will definitely be in the full version, but I'm not too sure where the developers stand on that for Town Square. I might have it recorded somewhere in a Twitch clip, but I'd like to double check before I give a concrete answer. Oh, and of course, they're moderators in the Twitch chat. Thank you so much for showing up. These guys definitely help with answering questions if I miss any. And it's always nice to have another helping hand around. So thank you, Light, for showing up today.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, I forgot he was in the call. Um, yeah. Ooh, what is your advice for learning Maya? Any thoughts on that, Antoine, for learning 3D modeling?
Oh god, I don't know. Practicing a lot.
Any tutorials or literature that you found really beneficial to you?
Yeah, there is some really good free tutorial on YouTube or anywhere, or even better, not free.
Okay.
And yeah, it's really good to begin with that. You are complete beginner.
Okay.
That's really useful.
Nice. And where did you study again for your modeling?
In France, a school called Cageux,
Excellent.
and
Wow.
for 3 years, and one more years in Montreal, Quebec.
Cool, dude. That's a lot of work. It's really paying off though. You definitely learned a lot and you're improving day by day when you're doing this stuff too. It's always nice to see you just really go at it. Uh, yeah. But yeah, the pool table should be really cool to see. I can already see half of it taking shape. Have you ever played pool yourself, Antoine?
Yep.
Nice. It's something I really got to do more. It's kind of a fun leisure activity. I'm just kind of stuck gaming all the time. um, yeah, we use the Nightbot API for the Twitch chat. It really hates links. You could send it to me on Discord though, and I could review it. Hmm. Yeah, what other stories can I share while we watch this? I know John has been making some small optimizations here and there in Town Square. Not going to get into specifics, but he managed to save a pretty decent amount of FPS in the art gallery the other day. I'll let him share that story when the time comes, but it's, as I said earlier, it's really good that we have this extra time to actually make sure that the module one runs well and runs smoothly, because we might not have caught that performance boost there. Are you in the office or at home? I'm actually in the office right now. Antoine is working from Quebec, which is one province over. And I see from my little domain here, we have the graphic designer Mark, one of our Unreal programmers Andrew, Sean, the art director right in front of me on the other end of the table. To my left, I have Archer, our UI guy, and then we have Liam, our web dev dude. And then in the office to the far right, we have John in his own cubicle. It's very terrifying to approach John in his own part of the office, but it must be done sometimes. In Landminer, I have to look over the permit function. I didn't know that existed. I'll definitely get that ready for next stream. In terms of working hours for the office guys, it's usually 9 to 5 EST. Um, some people have started showing up in the office on the weekend to do some overtime work. That's just at their discretion, because they really take it seriously and they want to see it done well and done right and done as fast as it possibly can be done. And John has already been doing work on the weekends and after hours for a while now. But me, myself, working overtime isn't really something a community manager necessarily needs to do, at least probably something you'd only see on like really big days, like a launch day for something. Um, will the game be released in French? The full game will have a client translated in a bunch of different languages, so there will be a French option for that. But for Town Square, it'll only be in English, solely because we really want to focus on getting the game functioning and getting it functioning well, and then just letting people test it out. Simply, we need the modules complete and the game complete before we can actually translate stuff. We do value greatly. Um, Sorry, I think I'm eating my mic. It's a bit too close here. I should be a little less loud. I mean, Antoine here is from Quebec. We have workers from Germany. We have workers from the UK, all over the place. We definitely value having languages available. It's just not something that we can budget for right now for the modules at the very least. For the full game, you'll definitely have a lot of major languages available. Um, One moment. A press kit. I haven't brought that up yet with the boys, Joseph. I think I know who you are in the Discord. You have the rescue role. Um, Definitely something that would be really useful once we start doing like we'll go to conventions and get things set up. Everyone's just kind of in full tilt for module one. That's really the only focus right now. So they haven't had time to devote resources to making like press releases and things like that. But it's something that we'll have to look into for the future. Um, yeah, there was an office tour I did during, I think it was during my second week here. It's on the Facebook. I can actually grab a link real quick if you guys want to see. It looks a bit different now, as we do have another table on one of the walls. There's like a bunch of computer components and boxes just sitting there because we have to build another station if we get another person, because we're actually pretty full right now. It's great because when I came here, it was just a few guys. Videos. Let me link you the office tour. Um, Oh, Facebook, just give me the embedded option, please. Okay, finally. Here we go. This is the office tour if anyone's interested. It's nice. It's nice and cozy. I definitely want to do more videos like that in the future. It's just right now, the #1 focus is Module 1. Like, we really want this to come out and have it run very well, so. I am planning some little things in the future. I've mentioned this a bunch of times in the past, but I would love to do some testing for budget builds because computer building is very expensive, and I would love to see how Identity runs, or Module 1 runs at least, on more lower end hardware. And I might compile a video, pass it to John, see what he thinks, and if I get the green light, I can post it. Not necessarily including benchmarks, but at least showing FPS values for lower end graphics cards and things like that. I think that'd be fun. Para, that is scary thought, but really I haven't heard anything like that, and from what I've been seeing, it's going well. But the real answer is only John knows. Right now we are doing well though. Like, the extra month is benefiting us really well so far. Mostly because we know that we'll have that extra time for testing and getting in the final few features. Um, and he also, as he's mentioned in the dev blog, he needs to get more media out pretty much whenever he can, because I would love to see a feature video showing off what's actually in Town Square, because we talk about it a lot, but just to have a full list of all the things you can do would be super beneficial and really turn some heads. So I'm looking forward to seeing something like that. Identity uses the Unreal Engine 4. I think we're on version 4.18 or something. Maybe I shouldn't give a number because I'm not entirely sure, but one of the most recent ones. Um, John will hopefully be joining the stream, and that's when I can start asking some cool questions. But he's super busy. If he doesn't find the time, I don't blame him. I rather see him work on the game than pop in. But if he can, that would be great. I thought there was way more people with how the game looks. Um, we do have more freelancers and things like that that come in from time to time as part of the team, but the core number of Identity, or core number of Asylum members, usually hovers around 20 or 30. Within the office, I only see right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, including me. But then again, like, you guys have probably seen Jade. He streams all the time, and he's from the UK. And we have lots of people doing great work from all over the place, like Antoine here, for example. He's done some awesome stuff. You've probably seen our social media, and he just the modelers we have are really, really good. I love the quality that they put out. Um, opinion about Blender. I myself don't do any modeling, but I recall hearing Motown in the past say that Blender has greatly improved over what it once was. It was really looked down upon for a while, but it's gotten to the point where people can make some pretty extensive things in Blender. So, if it's the only free tool you can get your hands on to learn stuff and actually like put out good content with, I wouldn't feel bad about that. In fact, I think it would be a great tool to learn and maybe actually take seriously with.
Yep, I can confirm that. Blender is
Oh,
pretty cool.
nice. Cool. Um, will there be a playable beta for standard versions of the game? The roadmap so far is we're going to have 3 modules, followed by a beta, and then the full release. The modules will focus on certain aspects of the game. There'll be small playable pieces of Identity you can play while waiting for the full game. and then the beta will be like the full game, just testing, needing tweaks, maybe some glitches, and then we'll have the full game. As long as you have the founder package or above on the identity shop, you will have access to all of it. And if you just have the $15 one, that'll get you the full game when it's out. So pretty good deals right now. In terms of what the game will cost on Steam when it's out, I don't want to give a specific value. I'm not too sure. I know we've been asked that in the past, and maybe John or someone has given an estimation, but I'm just not too sure. I don't want to give anything right now about that. But how much of the development people work on one piece of furniture? Usually, you'll see people assigned a particular asset or particular design. Like I know Miroslav does like the hairstyles, which take pretty long to do because those are kind of complicated. If we're talking hardwood designs for furniture, I mean, we've seen Antoine here almost complete something in the span of an hour. The pool table is more complicated. He won't be finishing this in 1 hour, but it really just depends on what kind of textures you want in terms of like the design of the piece of object you're working on in terms of like finer details, or it varies. But very interesting process, no matter how difficult or easy the object is to create. Out of curiosity, Antoine, I should probably know this by now, but what program is this? Is this Maya right now? I can't remember.
It's 3ds Max.
Oh, 3ds Max. Cool. Thank you. Is it okay to watch YouTube videos to get a basic idea for modeling? Honestly, with a lot of things, a lot of professions and skills and talents, watching is definitely one of the ways to actually kind of get it in your system and develop an understanding of what you need to do. Antoine mentioned earlier that any sort of tutorials you can get your hands on that show this sort of thing might be really beneficial. Even watching these live streams might actually teach you a thing or two. And if there's anything in particular you want to ask about while we are streaming, we can definitely try and answer those questions. Ooh, don't want to butcher this name, but Oliver Leva about servers. Let me summon something for you because I know I have an old Twitch clip that talks about locations and languages of servers. I posted it today, I swear. Yes. Sorry for the delay, folks. Check this out. We should have the answer in that. I know CEO mentioned, like we'll be using Google as a servers, and they have them all over the place. Not in like every province or state or country, but like in a lot of places worldwide. So it'll hopefully be able to appeal to most players. Um, how repetitive will Module 1 be for content and identity? Honestly, that's not a bad question. We want to put in as many little features to complement the bigger ones as we possibly can, so people that do hop in can actually feel pretty immersed and enjoy themselves. The main ones that you hear a lot about are like the apartment customization, because that's big. You'll be able to create your character when you sign in, so you get a first taste of that. When you're walking around, you can do karaoke in front of other players, which will probably be pretty silly. I think the success of that really depends on how serious or how funny people kind of take it to be. If it really takes off, maybe it won't. There's going to be, you can go to the cinema, watch some stuff with friends. Writing books and contributing to the art gallery will be interesting because I think it might cause some competitions in terms of like who can get their stuff viewed and liked more than other people's. Uh, I don't sign on a video game expecting to read books, of course, but if someone writes something like a poem or something catchy or funny, it might actually, get a lot of publicity and people might actually try and surf off of that. So there's that. But even there are smaller things, like I know John was working on a soda machine the other day. You should be able to interact with one, click it, it'll pop out a soda can, it'll roll on the floor, and there's like a cooldown of like 5 to 15 seconds. So you can't like infinitely spam soda cans and flood module one with them. But there's just little things around that we really want to kind of make you feel immersed and just have fun, like tweaking with things and seeing what you can do. Um, and of course, the apartment customization is probably going to be the biggest one because I might spend hours making stuff in my apartment, or I might find the perfect layout and be finished in 5 minutes. It really is up to the player to see what suits them. So it's a good question nonetheless, though. It'll be interesting to see how players respond and what their favorite activity will be. Um, will there be an in-game magazine? There will be an in-game newspaper. So people can contribute to the newspaper and can talk about pretty much. I don't think there's been any restrictions there actually, as far as I'm aware. But in terms of talking about like world events for the game world, I'm not too sure if that'll be an automated thing. I think it'll just be mostly a player created articles. Um, yeah, it's almost 4:30 already. Pretty much halfway done. That was quick. Oh, countermeasures or rules in place to stop mass random death matchers. In Module 1, you won't have to worry because there won't be any conflict really. In the full game, there is something that we have dubbed the stress system. Um, it is a complicated system, but from what I understand, uh, basically, if someone comes up to you, if you're in just, a random city, that's totally fine. Like nothing weird is going on, and someone tries to instantly mow you over with a car or shotgun you point blank at the back of the head, you will take damage, but you will not die because how the stress system works is if you're just minding our business, we believe that players shouldn't just be instantly prone to death. Of course, this can be turned off for private servers, but to describe it, if someone whips out their gun, their stress is max, meaning that they can take realistic amounts of damage. But if your stress is low, you won't take realistic amounts of damage. And as if you don't instigate anything, you'll be fine. However, if someone has drawn a gun pointing at you and you're in like combat for a while, your stress level will rise and you will eventually take that realistic level of damage that can kill you quite easily. Within the game world, in areas where there's lots of criminal activity, you will see stress levels always be maxed in certain areas, and then there are other areas in the game where stress levels will always be super low, where like your weapons might get taken away or things like that, and you're just in this area that's really safe. So there's something that will hopefully appeal to everyone with the stress system. But it gets far more complicated than that, and John would be the best one to describe it fully. Um, but yeah, to answer your question, there are some countermeasures in place to prevent people from just going guns crazy and killing everyone. That wouldn't be fun. Now, of course, on private servers, you can turn this off if you don't like it. If you believe you're, part of a server that's very mature and won't do that sort of thing freely, then you're totally fine with turning that off, and you'll always be vulnerable. Um, yeah. Yeah, the devlogs are definitely one of the best sources of info. They'll get emailed out if you've pledged or subscribed to the newsletter, and they also get posted to the forums. And they're pretty much posted on all of our social media. I definitely want to make sure people are up to date with the most recent news as much as I possibly can alert everyone. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was discussed in the new one. Um, Definitely cool to see that photo of the construction work in Town Square. That was really nice to see, actually. Looks really, really good. Um, a Demon Hunter, in terms of what you can change with the house or apartment, if you're referring to the shop, when the new website is up, you will be able to buy pieces of the pledged rewards that you've been seeing. Like right now, we have big packages. In the future, you should be able to buy things individually. I'm assuming the prices of items will go up in some way because, as the site suggests or states actually, that you are getting a pretty good deal right now because it's so early, and you know you're contributing to the development fee as well, which is really amazing. Um, but in terms of what you can alter and change, I am not 100% sure. We still have to decide on what will go up for sale separately, what items will be removed permanently. I know John mentioned that you will not be able to purchase anything on the new shop regarding in-game cash. The cash that comes with certain bundles right now is going to stay with those bundles, and when they go away, it's not coming back. Um, and yeah, I'll definitely keep you posted though, because it's something that I really want to know myself too. When will the gameplay with Town Square get out? I'm not too sure. I'm really advocating for that though, because I flippin' really want to see a feature video. It would be so cool because we're always talking about it, but I'd love to show it off and actually have people be able to witness the sort of things, as well as have a complete list of the confirmed features. That would be great too. Um, but no word on that yet. Definitely tight-lipped until we're 100% sure we know when we can get it out. Definitely one of the big things people are looking forward to, though. I think it's going to be really fun to watch. Will we see special events like Christmas, it would snow, or Halloween? Can we make costumes or something? Sorry, something like that. Um, there will be. Let me summon my directory. Holiday. I have 3 clips. In terms of the world environment changing, I'm not too sure how much, but we'll definitely have like holiday themed stuff you can put in your apartment or house to make it really feel festive. I'm just going to link the 2 clips below and hopefully they'll answer your question because I can't look at them right now, but I know we've discussed this before and I think we even talked a bit about it with Q&A we did with the Dynasty. Here's the second one. Oh yeah, the Christmas sweater. That was in a dev blog a few months ago with a little like Christmas bulb on it, I think, or snow. The module one having drawing pad support, it's something I brought up a bunch of times. They want to do it. I don't know if it'll be available right off the bat. People might be drawing with a mouse. I know that sucks, and obviously we really want to not have that for artists. Let me skim through my notes. Drawing pad, because we might have actually had an update on this. Hmm. Okay, I think we might have a more recent clip, but this is the only relevant one I could find at the moment.
It's definitely something that we want to do though, because I want to see some really cool art being made. You can do it with a mouse, but it's a killer on your hands. Is everything in the world of identity interactable? We want it to be interactable in a sense that when you walk up to something like a gumball machine, you could press a button and have it make a sound or see a gumball pop out or something. Not to the point where you can like have special sitting animations for this concrete slab or doing really specific things, but we do want to make it feel like you can be immersed in it and just have little things that'll uh, be a fun way to occupy your time with. There will be animals in the wild in the full game, not for Module 1. And in the full game, at some point, we would love to have some pets, not many, but just very basic pets like cats and dogs. But once again, that's far for the future. We're just really dead set on Module 1 right now, but it is something that we're looking at. And one of the professions I want to have in the full game is I want to be a hunter and just check out, what kind of wildlife is out there. You've definitely seen a deer in the gameplay video we had recently. Maybe you didn't, because it was actually kind of hidden. It was kind of like blending in with the background. But in the recent devlog, there is a pan shot showing the deer, so pretty cool. Oh, yeah, Antoine is currently modeling. I'm taking questions and answers. I'm Beach Ball or Brandon. I design houses in AutoCAD, and I can only imagine the pain of trying to do both. Yeah, it's I don't know how some of the artists do it here, honestly, because when you're talking, concentrating on that, it's crazy. It's hard to not mess up, but I'm here to help. Can please get a canine? We've asked about canine dogs actually a few times. I don't think the answer is yes, but I will find a clip for you. Anyways, just to verify. This is when I asked about canine attack dogs. Do the NPCs interact with players? Identity is special insofar as it has a very limited number of NPCs. They'll be there to help run your store when you're not around, or pretty much they'll basically just handle transactions for you, so you won't need to run cash. And they might be around for certain tutorial type things, like in government buildings or things like that. Um, but that's it. Like you won't see NPCs walking down the street or driving. It'll all be player populated, so that's pretty cool. I mean, there will be animal NPCs in the wild, but if you're thinking like GTA in terms of having, super populated areas with non-player characters, in Identity, they're mostly all going to be humans. So that's pretty cool to think about. Um, Definitely not something you see often, but it's going to be cool. It's going to be very cool. Will the game be compatible with virtual reality? The devs have expressed interest in VR. Identity is certainly not a game you could do VR in every aspect, in every place, because most VR games are built from the ground up with certain technical limitations in mind, because VR is very demanding, getting 90 FPS per eyeball pretty much, and things like that. But the devs have said maybe for apartments or maybe for watching movies in the cinema, because those are like enclosed areas where VR would just work better. So you might be able to in the future, but it's nothing that they've really promised on yet, because they just really want to focus on the initial release of Module 1 and then work from there. But it's definitely a feature people have been requesting. So we'll see what we can do in the future. I think VR is really fun. I've tried the PSVR; it's okay. But I played Super Hot on the Vive at one point, and that was wicked. Holy cow, that was fun. Will there be a thing in place to have community-made models be used in game? Uh, Insofar as making your own like content for the game, There's a lot of customization within Identity, like you'll be able to make your own corporate logo and help design shirts and things like that. You'll be able to write books and paint paintings or paint pictures, sorry. But in terms of bringing your own models into the game, like making something in Blender and importing it, that's probably not on the table, at least not right now. The developers will make a final decision when it comes to modding support and adding that sort of stuff in, probably a year or two after full release, because they want Identity to feel full, like a full experience that you don't feel the need to add things to, at least for a very long time. So uh, they're still in discussion about modding support and adding custom things in, but probably no answer on that for a while, no final answer. It's possible we might have a contest or something in the future for like fans contributing things to the game. We've talked a bit about that in the past, nothing solidified, but I know people are interested. So if that does happen, then we'll definitely let you know.
Hey Beach, I got a question for you if I may ask.
I don't know if I can answer, I'll try.
Throwing back to what we were talking about earlier with deer in the trailer, do you know who modeled that? Or was that by any
I
chance a purchased asset?
That is a good question. I do not know. It might be from a while ago, because I don't think anyone was working on a deer recently at the very least. I don't know if that was purchased or not, but I'll definitely get back to you on that one.
I know we had it in the interview and the overview, but so I don't know. I'm interested in seeing who modeled that,
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm gonna write that down actually. Deer model, question mark. This is Light speaking, by the way. He's helping answer questions in the Twitch chat.
Hello.
Yeah, about someone's asking, what's the copyright like on the logos and et cetera in the game? Are we allowed to use them in blogs, video streams? Any content we put out is pretty much, at least in my opinion, from what I see, fair game if you guys want to make videos and stuff. What we don't want people is impersonating as us. That's a big no. But if you're very, clear about being a fan site and you have our like logo or something, as long as you're specific to say like, we aren't actually Asylum, then it's probably fine. We don't want to be too restrictive on that sort of thing. And if we have any Twitter pictures out there, or once we get the modules out, feel free to make videos or views or content or criticisms, anything really. Because that sort of stuff helps us. It helps us learn what we need to do better if there are criticisms, and it gets the word out. And if you guys are having fun, then it's nice to learn that you guys are enjoying it too. So we don't want to be super clingy with that sort of thing. Will prison work like sitting for 30 minutes in a cell? There's actually two forms of like punishment in that regard. There's jail and then there's prison. Jail is a cell that you will just sit in, but only for very short amounts of time. So if you don't pay a speeding ticket or something, you might be taken to jail and you'll be forced to sit in this cell for 5 minutes. But if you do a major crime like murder, you'll be sent to prison. Prison can go up till I think 45 minutes on the official servers. That's what we're currently looking at. That might change with testing, but that's our current number. And in prison, it'll be huge, a far bigger area where you can walk around and do some gang related stuff and maybe even try and break out. So that should be pretty neat. I do have a bunch of clips about prison. So many that I actually can't list right now. So I'm going to put this link in. If you control F prison, when you click this, it's a link to the forums. You'll find a lot of information. Is there a poster I can get to put up everywhere? I don't have any posters, but I know we have some brochures laying around that kind of talk a bit about identity, and we have a lot of them, I think. So if you're ever in the area, I'll definitely give you one of our brochures. Did you show some screenshots of the pledge rewards before Town Square comes out? Maybe with the new site. I have been inquiring when we can see more either art or the actual models of things like the sports car and the apartments. If you guys have been paying attention to Jade streams, he's been doing all of the apartments. I think he's working on the penthouse. Maybe he's finished it, but I'm just going to see he's working on it just to give him the benefit of the doubt, and it's been looking really cool. You can definitely get a preview of what you'll be getting with the pledge rewards. If you have like a luxury 1-bedroom apartment, he's finished that. If you have a 2-bedroom, I think he's done that. So you can check them out on his channel. That's Jade77. But in terms of like sports car and dirt bike, I want to see the dirt bike especially, but I don't think we have any new material on that just yet. I am pushing to get that stuff out though because it's important and people want to see it. So excited to see new art get put out for that sort of thing. Just on a personal note, like I'm probably gonna get the $90 one because I just want an off-road vehicle. I really want to explore this world map when it's complete and out in the full game. So it's kind of what I'm gunning for. But yeah, sports car would be nice though. If you get a pledge that offers a bike or vehicle, can you pick a different vehicle instead of the one with the pledge? Wait for the new site because you might be able to purchase. Actually, you'll likely be able to purchase some vehicles separately. But if you're talking about getting a pledge rewarded rusted car, and then in the full game you earn a different car that you just like more, you definitely don't have to use the rusted car. You can chuck it. You can't sell it though. You can't sell vehicles or anything like that that you'll get with pledge rewards with real money because it would give people too much of a boost if they could buy things with real money, break it into the game, and then sell a bunch of stuff. It wouldn't be good. The only exception there is that currently with the pledge rewards we have on the shop, we do have packages that give you some starter money. It won't give you a significant edge, and we will actually be removing that with the new shop. But yeah, there is that. It's just like an early incentive. Can a player visit the prison? I don't know if you can make prison visits in terms of like going in to meet someone because I think it's an instanced area in itself. But once you're in prison and your time is up, you actually don't have to leave right away. You can just hang out. Will there be things to do in prison or ways to make the prison time shorter? It might be in that list of Twitch clips. I don't know off the top of my head though. Quad bikes. Another good question. All right, have a good time, Light. Thanks for hanging out. For Rip Real Life, are there only English servers or are there also German and other base servers? For Town Square, it's only going to be English just because we need to build the game first before we can translate it, but we understand the value that having other language options brings. So for the full game, you will have your like menus and things like that translated to as many major languages as we can get possible. In terms of specifying like this is a German speaking server, we don't know if we'll do that, but there will be servers in a bunch of different areas throughout the world. Most people will tend to gravitate towards the servers that give them the lowest ping, that are closest to their geographical location. And with that, they usually conglomerate, or not really how to use the word, but they usually turn into specific speaking servers just based off of the people located closest. So we think that's something that'll form naturally. But to answer your question, for the full game, you will have language options and things like that. It's just for the modules and the beta, maybe the beta, but at least for the modules, we just want to build the game first as fast and as efficient and as best we can. And we don't have time to budget for translating stuff just yet for that budget in terms of time. Will there be an opportunity for fun off-roading experiences? I hope so, because that's what I want to do. Honestly, first day, if I can get my dirt bike, the off-road vehicle, I'm just going to drive and see what's out there. Maybe encounter like a bear or something. What if you own a house and another person joins that owns the same house? If it's an apartment, Apartments are limitless in supply. You'll go into certain areas within the world, like hotels or things like that, or apartment complexes, and you will be able to take an elevator up to a specific floor. They will be infinite in number, so you don't have to worry about conflicts there. For houses on the server land, in the full game, there will be houses specific to like certain locations in the server land. Only one person can own that house. So if I own house A, no one else can buy that house. So houses have this inherent value of property to them because it's like, wow, maybe this guy's house is in a really good location, or it's in this neighborhood I want to be a part of. You can't actually buy his house unless that house goes on the market. If someone doesn't pay their upkeep fee, which is basically their like annual bill or monthly bill, I don't know. I think it might come like every few weeks or something, but we haven't decided on that just yet. But there will be a maintenance fee. It's called the upkeep fee. It's kind of like paying bills. If you don't do that, it'll go back on the real estate market. In terms of sharing a house, you can select co-owners to live with you. Your house or apartment has to be labeled as having multiple bedrooms. Um, and basically, when you select a co-owner, you can have them help decorate your house and things like that, and they'll have a lot of the same permissions you do. The only thing a co-owner can't really do that the owner can do is like throw it on the market to sell it. You don't want people stealing your house or messing it up in that sort of way, like just eliminating it entirely. But that's kind of how it is. So apartments can there's like an infinite number of apartments, technically speaking, but houses are specific to certain areas within the server world. So those are more valuable. And yes, if you own a house on server 1, you will not own that house on server 2 because that would just cause a lot of, well, A, it would make the houses unbelievably rare. I don't think anyone would ever get them after the first few weeks, but yeah, every server will have their own like set of people owning the, like as I said, you can't own a house in one server and expect to own it in the next one. That's the best way to describe it. Now, if you have a pledge rewarded apartment, you can claim that in multiple servers. You won't have all the same furniture, like you'll have to get the same stuff that you had if you want to decorate it the same. But if you have a pledge reward or if you purchased a microtransaction or something, we want to make sure you have access to that wherever you go. So you'll be able to claim, like if you have a luxury 1-bedroom apartment on one server, you can claim it again on another server. But you'll have to populate it with the same furniture you bought. So you'll have to earn that in game somehow again. Same thing with vehicles. What are the prices for houses? I don't know exactly any figures, but prices will mostly be based off of how big they are, like how much room you can actually move around and decorate with, and probably location. If you have like a really nice view on, you know, the local environment, or if you're just in a nice spot, those might be more valuable. Can you own a house in one server, then own a different one in another server? Yeah, if you're one of those players that hops in between servers a lot, you can do that. You do have to pay this upkeep fee, as I mentioned earlier, every now and then. I don't know how frequently, but the game is kind of designed in a way that it kind of wants your house to like go on the market if possible. It really wants houses to feel valuable, and it might be quite the balancing act going between servers and trying to own houses in each one. It might just be better to have a house in one server and maybe just stick to apartments in others because you'll always have those available. And they probably won't be as expensive. In terms of the value of the currency in identity, we want it to be close to the US dollar in terms of how it behaves. So like, you might find a cheap pair of shoes for like 20 or 30, or you might find a luxurious pair for far more. We might follow something similar for houses. Real talk though, where the housing market is, where like I come from in Canada, it's kind of crazy. I think it's kind of inflated. It might be hard to actually label down a specific, like, this is the average price for this house, because there's a lot of different factors that go into the value of real estate, even in the U.S. I'm sure. But we're gonna try and keep it to the U.S. dollar as much as we can, because the game's location is actually based off of the I think the eastern part of the U.S., the Carolinas. So we're gonna try and keep it true to form in that regard. Once you log off, does your bill stop? For houses, no, because the game wants you to like pretty much try and get rid of your house if possible, if you aren't like really taking care of it, because other players want that house too. It You will still have a sufficient amount of time to pay the upkeep fee. It's not like you log out one day, you log in the other, and your house is gone. That would be unfair and cruel. But you will have to not like you're gonna have to care about it. Let me try and search something in the directory here. Upkeep fee. So this Twitch clip is a little bit old, but it's what I asked about the difference between the apartment and the housing. And then there's one more I can probably get you. This one talks about the frequency of how often, so I think this will appeal to you guys the most if you're wondering how frequently. Can you give housing keys to other players? You can elect other players as a co-owner, as I mentioned before. They get all the same permissions as you do. They can help decorate your house or your apartment, but the thing that they cannot do is like sell your apartment or house, because that would be grimy, and it would just cause a lot of griefers to run, like, try and drop your sense of security, and then, oh, there goes your house. So what happens if you become homeless in Identity? You can still function perfectly fine when you're homeless. You won't need to like sleep to not die or anything like that. The only thing that's really confirmed right now in terms of keeping your character's health up is that there will be a thirst and a hunger mechanic. If you do not take care of these, nothing really that bad will happen. You just might become a bit slower running around or things like that. You won't ever have to worry about dying because you're not taking care of your character correctly. But yeah, I mean, I think some people will even just choose not to have a house. Like, I think day one, a lot of people, like, you'll be given access in the module to a free apartment to test around, and in the full game, I think you'll have a hotel room, which is even smaller than the apartment, which is a temporary thing. But I think players will just, some anyways, will do whatever they want in terms of making money and not actually spend it on housing. If you have a pledge rewarded apartment or a vehicle, you can always claim it in every server you are in. That's because if you guys are buying things with real money, we want to make sure that you can actually get the use that you want out of it. So you won't have to worry about losing those. But just to clarify, we are not selling houses on the server land. We are selling apartments, which you will go into a hotel or an apartment complex, go up an elevator, and you'll load into your apartment. Houses are super special that, there's only one person can have a house. Like house A is on, server A. Only one person can own house A on server A. It's exclusive in that regard, so they are far more valuable. Oh my gosh, it's 5:01. I wasn't even flipping paying attention. I really like where this pool table is going, Antoine. It's already taken shape.
It's pretty hard to begin. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I hope I answered your guys' questions all right. I know I'm not the best because the devs pretty much know all, but I think today went pretty well. Thanks for sticking around. Once again, the time zone shift probably threw people off because we're streaming at a different hour in some regions. We have longer days now, but dark mornings, which I'm just waiting till summer really, so we get long days regardless. But thanks so much for joining. It's a flurry of white outside still. It'll be fun busing home, I'm sure. We stream pretty much every Tuesday and Thursday. When Module 1 is out, we'll try and take one of those days to stream the game with you guys. I would love to play with the community as well as the other devs. And yeah, on Thursday, I believe we have Philippe scheduled. He has a bit of a flu right now, though, so if he's not feeling better by early Thursday, I might have to get someone else. But
He's there.
but yeah, it was great, and special thanks to Antoine for showing up. It's always great seeing his work. I'm surprised how far he got with his pool table, and literally like we started a bit late too, so this is under an hour of work. Wow. And to the mods for showing up, it's great. But yeah, if you guys need anything, I'm beach_ball number 4434 on the Discord. You can always shoot me a message on Twitch or there or on the forums. Just find the beach ball, and that's me, and I'll try and get your questions answered. And if I don't have the answers, I'll try and pass them along to the devs. But thanks so much for joining. It's an exciting time. I'm super hyped for Module 1. And yeah, I hope you all have a safe and great rest of your Tuesday. All right. So with that, we will bid you farewell for now. I hope you all have a great day, and we will be signing out. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.